What's up, everyone? Welcome to Daily Anime Talk, where I'm going to talk about all the new anime that I've been watching, and not just the new ones, also the stuff that I've been catching up on, like Attack on Titan. I'm not fully up to date, so I'm going to be catching up on that within the next week or so. So let's start off. I watched Suppose a kid from the last dungeon boonies moved to the starter town. I'm going to give a quick overall overview of it, and then I'll talk about what I thought about the show. So first we get a flashback of Lloyd at his village, and then he moves out of his village and goes to a town where he meets Maria. Alka, who is Lloyd's kind of teacher from his town, sends him to Maria, who is also Alka's teacher. We meet a girl called Celine, who has cursed belts all over her head, and only strength can remove them. And then Celine meets Lloyd, and his strength makes him able to remove the belts without him knowing. And later in the episode, they just fall off her face, and she's like, "Whoa, how did this happen?" And figures out it's Lloyd. And later on in the episode, Lloyd gets into an event to become a soldier, and meets Rio, who is a mercenary, and sees how overpowered he is, and is very wary of him until they start speaking, which then leads into Celine throwing her across the town, where she's very unhappy that they're talking because she seems to be very crazy about Lloyd. Overall, the episode was very straightforward, getting to know the characters, getting to know the world about how Lloyd is OP and he doesn't really understand common sense. So hopefully in the next couple of episodes they'll probably build that up and show how he gets to understand the world and everyone sees how crazy he is. The next show, which was Otherside Picnic, I think this name is Sora or Sorao. Wakes up in an alternate world and meets this girl called Toriko, who's looking for someone, which we don't know who it is yet. They help each other out to escape back to the regular world, but they come across this kind of glass creature that seems to make people crazy when it looks at them. But somehow they defeat it. It turns into some sort of a glass cube that drops on the floor, and they take it back to the real world, where they kind of just relax and kind of take... Yeah, like I was saying, they get back to the real world and have to take stock of what just happened. They meet up in the real world after everything's happened, maybe like a day or two later, and Toriko suggests that they go back to that crazy alternate world because she's found someone to sell those cubes to. And somehow they beat the creature with rock salt Toriko found on the floor. Toriko takes Sora back by a mysterious lift that she finds in just a random building, showing lots of different entities and creatures on different floors, and when they're going back and forth in a sequence. While in the lift, Toriko shows Sora that she's carrying a gun to fight these things off. They return to the alternate world, and then together they take on the creatures, about 5 of them, with Sora's eye ability that she seems to have by looking straight at these creatures. It still affects her, but she almost disarms them. And then Toriko shoots them, which then defeats them and makes the cubes that are inside of them fall to the floor, and they end the episode with a bit of a victory to themselves. It's a very strange show, I'll say that much. It seems to centre around creepypastas and urban myths, and this alternate world seems to house them, and they come together to create this apocalyptic alternate world. The next show I watched was Musume Pretty Derby Season 2. It pretty much follows straight after the first season, but this time, instead of a special week, we're following Tuka Teo. And special week is now just one of the side characters, but she's still in the show. Pretty much the first half of the episode is just going back over the characters, and pretty much all the characters have their names in little speech bubbles. Even the side characters are just walking by that you may never have even seen in the first season. They're just showing them because they're all based off of real racehorses. So I guess I don't really know much about racehorsing or horse races. So a lot of it may have gone over my head, but it may have been little Easter eggs for people that pay attention to that stuff. So then it shows flashbacks of Tuca training, and then they open the school up for new horse girls to see what it's like in the school for everyone. And then the new girls remind Tuca of her past life, or not her past life, but her younger self. And then after all of that, the second half of the episode is about the race day and the pressure, but she doesn't really feel the pressure. She thinks she's going to win, and then she pretty much does win. It's pretty straightforward. And then at the end of that episode, she looks down at her leg, but isn't really sure about if it's anything bad or not, so she just doesn't pay any attention to it. Then later on, they go to the celebration of the concert, and Tuco's idol Rudolph and the trainer notice there's like a little niggle in her leg that she doesn't really act like it hurts, but they seem to realise that something's quite wrong. Okay, so the next episode I watched was the episode of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime Season 2, where this is more or less just a recap of Season 1 before the Season 2 officially starts. So it just recapped everything kind of out of order, but it still showed everything that happened. And then at the beginning and the end, it showed Hinata Sakaguchi, who was Shizu's student that left her, and because of everything that's happened, and realizing that Rimuru looks like Shizu, she assumes that Rimuru has killed Shizu, and that is going to lead to something very major in the new season, I'm assuming. And the last episode I watched was Black Clover, where it's now been 6 months, and the Spade Kingdom is using people as mana fuel to cross the high mana zone between the nations, so they can get to the Heart and Clover Kingdoms. As we meet the usual group of Asta and Noel, they hear that the people are being used as fuel and tools, and Asta goes off to help them, and the show shows how he's made progress by making him a lot more beefed up and muscular, and he can now ride his sword like a broom. He doesn't have to jump on everyone else's brooms and hitchhike. Asta crash lands on this fortress and swiftly takes care of all the soldiers, while Finral, Noella, and Mimosa arrive just after, showing how powerful they all have become, because they're not really bothered about this event. They think it'd be just another occurrence. Luck and Leo also take care of something that's going on in the village of these people that were taken. They take care of all the soldiers that were there and reclaim it for them. And then the show's main group controlling the Spade Kingdom, the Dark Triad, talk, and they're talking, coming up with a plan of how to deal with all these new and upcoming mages that are trying to combat them. So those were the first 5 episodes I watched recently. I'm going to definitely be trying to keep up with at least a few dozen of the new shows coming out, and try and catch up with them, like Dr. Stone and Promised Neverland. I'm going to try and keep up with them, and in the next day or so, I'll probably make another episode just going over everything and what I thought about it. But yeah, overall, just going back to Black Clover, I also enjoyed the new OP. I definitely think the new OP and ED were definitely improvements. I'm enjoying those. So yeah, Black Clover has always been an enjoyable one. I've enjoyed it pretty much every week I've watched it. I've been watching it since the first episode. But yeah, that's been everything. I hope you've enjoyed this little overview of the first couple of new shows and returning shows. If you did enjoy, make sure to come back. I'm going to be going over new stuff every few days or so. But yeah, thanks, and I'll see you next time.